All right, future estheticians, welcome. I know gearing up for that licensing exam can feel like a lot. So in this explainer, we're going to zero in on the one area of science you absolutely have to nail. And trust me, it's not just about passing the test. It's about keeping your future clients safe. So let me ask you, what do you think is the number one topic that trips people up on their exam? You might think it's some fancy new laser treatment or a super complex facial technique, right? Nope. It's actually something way more fundamental, and it's where so many people lose points. Yep, there it is. Basic chemistry. Seriously? Our source material shows this is where these simplest little mix-ups can cause the biggest point drops. But look, this is so much bigger than just a test score. This stuff, it's literally the foundation of keeping your clients safe.
All right, let's get into it. The chemistry you must know, decoding the pH scale. And honestly, this is the language every single product speaks. Knowing this is, well, it's non-negotiable.
Okay, so this is your fundamental tool, the pH scale. It runs from 0 to 14, and you can just think of it like a seesaw. Anything below 7 is acidic, anything above 7 is alkaline, and dead in the middle, at 7, that's neutral, like pure water. I can pretty much guarantee you're going to see this on your exam, so let's lock this concept in right now. And this slide really shows you why this matters. So on one side, you've got acids. These are your exfoliators. They kind of dissolve that glue holding dead skin cells on. On the other side, you have alkaline products. They soften things up, make the skin swell a little, which is great for things like extractions. But here's the catch. If you misuse either one, you can wreck something called the acid mantle. That's the skin's natural protective shield. Mess that up, and you're opening the door to bacteria and all sorts of problems. Okay, if there is one number you burn into your brain from this whole thing, it's this one, 4.5 to 5.5. That is the magic number. It's the natural pH of healthy skin. See how it's slightly acidic? That's on purpose. It's what keeps bad bacteria out. Your entire job, really, is to respect that number and keep the skin right there, in that happy zone. All right, so now let's talk about how all this chemistry fits into your product toolkit. And here's a huge tip from the source material for your exam. They don't care about brand names at all. They care about what a product does. It's all about function over brands. So these are your basics, right? Your cleansers, exfoliants, the whole shebang. The exam isn't just going to ask you, what's a toner? No way. They're going to hit you with scenarios like, okay, your client has oily, congested skin. What are you reaching for? Or you just finished a big exfoliation treatment. What is the absolute next thing you have to do? And your answer, every single time, comes down to understanding what these things do on a chemical level. This is a great example. Moisturizer isn't just one thing. This table breaks it down perfectly. You've got occlusives. Think of them like a lid on a pot. They just seal the moisture in. Then you've got humectants, which are like little magnets that pull water to the skin. And finally, emollients, which are all about making the skin feel soft and smooth. Knowing the difference here is, honestly, the key to picking the right product for your client, not just any product. Okay, let's just stop on this for a second, because this is a golden rule. It's not a suggestion. When you exfoliate someone's skin, you've just taken off its top layer of armor. It's raw, it's vulnerable. So applying sunscreen afterwards isn't just a nice thing to do, it is an absolutely critical, non-negotiable step to keep them safe. Period. Okay, now we're getting into the serious stuff. Chemical exfoliation. This is where everything we've talked about, the chemistry, the products, the safety, all comes together in a really high-stakes way. You've got to get this right, not just for your client, but to protect your own license. This right here, this is a massive, bright red line that you do not cross. As an esthetician, your world is the epidermis. That's the top layer of skin, that's it. The second a peel or a treatment goes deeper into the dermis, it becomes a medical procedure. And that is way outside your scope of practice. I promise you they will try to trick you on this in the exam. All right, AHAs versus BHAs. Let's make this super simple. Think of it like this. AHAs love water. They're water-soluble, so they stay on the surface of the skin, working on texture and brightness. BHAs, on the other hand, love oil. They're oil-soluble, so what do? They can dive right down into an oily pore and clean it out from the inside. That's why BHAs are the absolute MVP for anyone with oily or acne-prone skin. Understanding that one difference, it's a total game changer. Pay close attention to this slide, seriously. A A huge part of your exam and your job is knowing when to say, no, we can't do this today. If a client comes in with sunburn, an open wound, any of these things, performing a chemical exfoliation isn't just a bad idea, it's dangerous. It's unprofessional. Honestly, knowing when not to do something is maybe even more important than knowing how to do it. Okay, let's tie all of this together now. This section is all about the big picture, protecting your client and your license. It all comes down to safety and knowing your scope. So what happens if things go wrong? If a client starts feeling a burn, or you see major redness or swelling? You don't guess, you don't wait, you follow this protocol. It's automatic. 1. Stop everything. 2. Get that product off. 3. Cool water rinse. 4. Document everything that happened. You have to know this procedure by heart. It's your emergency response plan. And here we go. Consider this your ultimate study guide, your cheat sheet for the exam's biggest traps. This is literally a list of the most common mistakes people make. Confusing acidic and alkaline. Forgetting that magic number 4.5 to 5.5. Pushing ahead when there's a contraindication. Going outside your scope. And yeah, skipping that sunscreen. If you can master everything on this one slide, you are going to be in such good shape for the exam. All right, so as we wrap this up, let's land on the one final takeaway, the one big idea that should guide you from here on out. Because at the end of the day, this is the only question that matters. Is your knowledge strong enough to protect your client? That license you're working for, it's not just a piece of paper to hang on the wall. It's a promise that you know your stuff. The chemistry, the products, the safety rules, this isn't just to pass a test. These are the shields you'll use every single day to protect every single person who puts their trust and their skin in your hands. Good luck studying. You've got this.